Welcome back. So it's been a while since I reviewed the Nitecore MH12 version 2. It's been over 3 years, and I believe this was my very first Nitecore review on this channel. And overall, I really like this flashlight, but Nitecore just released the MH12 Pro. So how does it compare? Let's check it out. So this is everything the Nitecore MH12 Pro comes with, and I'll give you guys a look at this box. It comes with a nylon holster, and I think this is a downgrade from the MH12 version 2's holster. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the MH12 version 2's holster, I think I like that one a little bit better than this version right here. Typical Velcro on the back to attach to your belt. There's a plastic D-ring right here. Velcro holding the flap shut, but let's move on. In this bag is a lanyard, spare O-ring, and a removable pocket clip, a Type A to Type C charging cable. Here's your owner's manual and warranty information, and of course the Nitecore MH12 Pro itself. So let's put all this off to the side, and I'll give you guys a nice close-up of the brand new MH12 Pro. And while you guys are checking this out, let's talk about some of the features. All right, so the MH12 Pro has a maximum output of 3,300 lumens, a maximum throw of 505 meters, and a max beam intensity of 63,500 candela. Now that's an upgrade over the MH12 version 2's 1,200 lumens and 202 meters of throw. And pushing out those 3,300 lumens is a single NiteLab UHi 40 LED with a round emitter. And that round emitter is going to give the MH12 Pro a very nice, bright hotspot. It has 5 brightness levels plus 3 special modes, strobe, SOS, and beacon. And it also has 2 user modes, a daily mode and a tactical mode. And the brightness levels are controlled with dual switches, a side switch and a tail switch. The body is CNC machined from an aluminum alloy and has a Type 3 hard anodized finish. It ships with an LL2153 HP, 3.6 volt, 5300 milliamp hour, 21700 rechargeable lithium ion battery that can be charged via its USB Type-C charging port on the body, or it can be slot charged with an external slot charger. And with this new 5300 milliamp hour battery, it gets a maximum runtime of 650 hours. It has a dust and waterproof rating of IP68. The 6 means it's dustproof, and the 8 means it's submersible in up to 6 feet of water, and it has a 1 meter impact resistance. All right, let's talk dimensions. It has a length of 5.45 inches and has a head diameter of 1.06 inches. And Nitecore claims it weighs 2.89 ounces, that's 82 grams. But that has to be without the battery, so I weighed it with the battery, and it came out to be 5.3 ounces, that's 150 grams. So the MH12 Pro here is going to make for a pretty good searchlight, outdoors, camping, light duty, and in my opinion, a great everyday carry flashlight, which is something I couldn't really say about the MH12 version 2 right here. I thought the MH12 version 2 was just a little too long for EDC. And if I hold these up side by side, I try to get these lined up on the bottom there, you can see just how much longer the version 2 is compared to the Pro version right here. That's because the Pro is 5.45 inches long and the version 2 was 6.22 inches long. And the Pro has so many more upgrades over the version 2. For example, the 3,300 lumens versus 1,200 lumens, the 505 meter throw versus 202 meters, the new NiteLab UHi 40 with the round emitter right here versus the older Cree XP-L2 V6. They both have side switches and tail switches, but unlike the MH12 version 2 right here, the Pro can actually tail stand. Thanks to this new U-shaped tail cap right here with these tabs, it can tail stand, and that is a huge plus in my book. And on top of that, this brand new body style on the Pro as opposed to the version 2 right here. I think the new Pro looks awesome. Specifically this CNC'd anti-slip knurling right here. This is 1 millimeter thick knurling. And you can see that this is very aggressive knurling right here. So in the hands, I think it feels great. I mean, it's typical Nitecore quality. The buttons feel very nice. So this side switch right here is a rubberized button. And it is a clicky button. Here, you can hear it. So that side switch is very clicky along with this tail switch right here. So it is a rubberized tail switch. It just feels nice and high quality. Now the Pro version doesn't come with a spare rubber button as the version 2 did. It came with a replacement rubberized button right here, but you can see it's much more protected. This button is exposed to everything that it comes in contact with, as opposed to this button right here, which is sunken down within this U-shaped tail cap. Also, there's no more LED within that side switch to indicate your battery level. They moved the battery level and brightness level LEDs to the side of that button. So if I turn it on from the tail switch, you can see that blue light right there is our brightness level. So as I go up, you can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is the brightest level. And right there, that is the battery level indicated by 4 green LEDs. Now, I really like this. I think this is a nice upgrade. And just for your information, those lights do not go out. They'll stay on for the whole duration as long as the light is on. Now, based on your preference, that's either a good or bad thing. For me, I don't mind it. I sort of like this. And you can see I just lost a level. So each one of these dots indicates 25%. So 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, and 75 to 100. So I really like this upgrade on the MH12 Pro. Also, let me give you a close-up of that UHi 40 LED with the round emitter. Now, I think these round emitters are awesome. It gives it a very nice beam profile, especially a perfectly round hotspot. And you're gonna see what I'm talking about once I do the beam test a little bit later on. But one thing I noticed, and the same problem the Cree XP L2 V6s have, are on lower levels, there's a little bit of a greenish tint to this beam. And this brightness level is on low, and I can see it clear as day on my desk. It does have a greenish tint that does go away as it goes up in brightness level. But the green tint at lower levels is a common problem in flashlights these days. And while we're talking about the emitter here, let me give you a close-up of that bezel. It's very, very minimal. So it's not a very aggressive bezel, but this isn't a tactical flashlight. So I wouldn't really expect a very aggressive bezel, but I do appreciate what's there. And I already showed you the U-shaped tail cap, but on each side of those tabs, there are attachment points for the lanyard that it comes with. And I'll show you the lanyard right here. Basically the same exact lanyard that came with the version 2. Also in this bag, there is a two-way reversible pocket clip, so you can put it right here for a lens down carry or put it right here for a lens up carry. I like to carry my flashlights lens down, so I'm going to put it right here. Split ring pocket clip. You can see you can move it in any direction. So I do like the fact that this is a two-way reversible pocket clip and removable. All right, let's go over Lumens and Runtime. So you can see it has 5 brightness levels and 3 special modes. Now the graph that I'm showing you here is in daily mode. There's also a tactical mode, which still gives you 5 brightness levels, but only 1 special mode, that's strobe. So let's start here with ultra low. That's 1 lumen, which I think is fantastic. I love a 1 lumen ultra low mode that gives us a maximum runtime of 650 hours. Next is a 50 lumen low with a 50-hour runtime, and then a 300 lumen mid with an 8-hour and 30-minute runtime. Next is a 1200 lumen high with a 4-hour and 30-minute runtime. And then next there's turbo 3300 lumens, a 30-minute runtime with an asterisk right there, 505 meters of throw and 63,500 candela. Now that asterisk next to the 30 minutes means that's a total runtime from turbo till it's dead. Very shortly, I'm going to test out that turbo runtime, and I'm just going to guess that it gets less than 2 minutes of 3300 lumens. Now the mode spacing here is decent. I love a 1 lumen ultra low. 50 to 300 is great. 300 to 1200 is okay, but I still want to see something in the middle of 1200 to 3300. I'm not really liking that big jump from 1200 to 33. I sort of want to see a high 2, maybe at 2400 lumens or 2200 lumens, something in that range. But overall, I think the mode spacing is great. Now, let's talk about these special modes, because I absolutely love Nitecore for this. You can see strobe, beacon, and SOS is 3300 lumens, the maximum lumen output in all 3 special modes. Nitecore, thank you. It's one of my biggest complaints is when you have a 3000 or whatever lumen flashlight and they give us this weak, wimpy little 300 lumen strobe. So Nitecore, you get mad props in my book for having maximum lumen output in all 3 special modes. So let's talk about the UI here. So 2 switches, but the only way to turn it on is through the tail switch. You can't press and hold the side switch to activate it. The only thing the side switch does is control the modes. The tail switch, a half press takes you to momentary on and a full press click, constant on. And once it's on, cycle through the modes with the side switch. So there's low, mid, high, and then there's turbo. Those are 4 cyclable modes right there. To reach the 1 lumen ultra low, it has to be off. Press and hold the side switch, push that tail switch in, and there's our 1 lumen ultra low. And by the way, I'm in daily mode right here. And the only way to reach those special modes is to turn on the flashlight, press and hold for strobe. It'll cycle through beacon and continue holding. There's our SOS. And I said this with the UI on the version 2 here. I'm not the biggest fan of how you cycle those 3 special modes because there's no way to get to instant beacon or instant SOS. It has to be through strobe. So even if I let go of the button on strobe, if I press and hold again, it doesn't go to beacon, it goes right back to our last known brightness level. So that's one knock against the UI is I don't like how you access and cycle through the special modes. Yes, it does have a mode memory, so I'll put it on low, mid right there. Turn it off, turn it right back on, it goes right back to mid. And yes, it does have a strobe memory, just like the version 2. There's strobe, turn it off, turn it back on, and there's instant access to strobe. So that's daily mode. Now let's talk about tactical mode. To reach tactical mode, you have to do the exact same thing as you had to do to reach ultra low. Press and hold the side switch, and then press in the tail, but hold it longer for about 5 seconds. It'll flash. Right there, now we're in tactical mode. In tactical mode, the brightness levels are reversed. So there's turbo, high, mid, low, and you can still reach ultra low in tactical mode by pressing that side switch and hitting that tail button. In tactical mode, there's only one special mode, that is strobe. And what you want to do is exactly the same thing. Press and hold that side switch. There's strobe. And you can see if I do that again and I try to hold that button in for beacon and SOS, doesn't work. And the last thing regarding the UI is there is no button press lockout. To lock out the flashlight, oh, there you go, still on strobe, just give that tail cap about a quarter twist. Now it's locked out. So overall, I think the UI here is very easy, especially with just a single press for on and off and just cycle through the modes with that mode switch. Now it's time for my not so scientific heat and turbo test. So what I do is I let the flashlight run for 2 minutes. And then I take its temperature at the head and the body after 1 minute and then after 2 minutes. And this one's a little crazy. This is one of the hottest flashlights I've seen in a while. After 1 minute, the temperature was 149 degrees Fahrenheit at the head and 117 at the body. And that wasn't even the hottest it got. After about 30 to 45 seconds or so, the temperature was 156 degrees at the head. It dropped a little bit once it got to that 1 minute mark. So the highest it was at in under a minute was 156 degrees. And that is right near that rubberized button. So it's a smart move on Nitecore to give us a rubber button and not a metal button. Because if they did, that button would be extremely hot. So after 2 minutes, it went down to 140 degrees at the head and went up at the body slightly to 119 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, 3,300 lumens in this small body gets a little bit hot, 156 degrees hot. So my recommendation is if you're going to be using turbo on this flashlight, you're going to need some gloves. Now let's talk about the turbo step down. I'm not going to know exactly what time until I'm editing this video. And I'll put on the screen right now exactly when turbo started stepping down and when it ended the step down. All right, let's do the beam test. So I'm going to start on low. I'm just going to bypass ultra low here. And you can see already what that round UHi 40 emitter is doing. So check out that crazy hotspot, that pretty crispy, bright hotspot right there. And this is only on low. Pan across. I'll put up the distance between me and that barn right there. And then me and that tree. And I'm already hitting that tree. That's pretty impressive. So let's go to mid. Wow. Wow. I mean, it is not even a small hotspot. That hotspot is almost getting that entire tree from this distance. That's pretty good. can see I'm redoing the siding on this house right here. So all the siding is ripped off. It's going to be like that for a little bit. Let's go to high. There's 1200 lumens. And I just want to say, I think a mosquito's on me. I just want to say that from this distance here, you can see that spill. That almost perfectly round outer perimeter there. That spill is fairly wide. I'm going to stay straight and I'll pan the camera so you can see just how wide that spill is. So the beam profile here is very nice. Man, that hotspot is very large. I mean, this is why I said this could make for a very nice searchlight or outdoors light, just general all-purpose light-duty flashlight. And this is only 1200 lumens, so I'm not going to get long with turbo, but let's do that now. All right, there's turbo. I'm guessing it's about 30 seconds or so, and already it is burning my fingers. This light gets very hot. Wow. See, I like to rest my finger on that mode switch, but I can't because it's getting so hot around my fingers. I can't even leave my fingers there. And I'm guessing it's going to step down very shortly. But you guys get an idea of just how bright this MH12, there it is. There was a step down. You guys see it? So I've just stepped down there, but this is a very bright little flashlight. So I'm going to move on to the next spot. Turn this off. Let's go. All right, let's talk about some pros of the MH12 Pro. Let's talk about the biggest pro of them all, at least in my opinion, was that beam profile. Maybe the best beam profile of any Nitecore flashlight, at least I think so. It is awesome. That hotspot, because of that round emitter, is intense. And that hotspot is so large, it just makes for a great little searchlight. And couple that large hotspot with a nice crispy, fairly wide outer perimeter, I think it's fantastic. Another pro is this brand new body style with this really aggressive 1mm thick anti-slip knurling. It just feels very nice while you're holding this in your hands. Another pro is this newly updated side switch right here with these LED indicators on each side of it that can clearly read out your battery life and brightness level. I like that there's a 1 lumen ultra low mode, and of course, you can tail stand it. The two-way reversible removable pocket clip is a nice touch. And the fact that you can switch daily modes relatively easy, but the fact that they give you 3 special modes at maximum 3300 lumens, I think is fantastic. And another pro is the price. This is $89.95, $10 more than the version 2 when it was brand new. And the last pro is its more compact size versus the overall size of the version 2 at only 5.45 inches. That makes the Pro much more pocketable in my opinion. Now let's talk about some cons here, and by far the biggest con is just how hot this flashlight gets. I hold my flashlight like this and my thumb is perfectly on that mode switch. And anytime you kick this light in the turbo, all of this where my forefinger is right there, it starts to get extremely hot. There's no way I can keep my bare hand there for any more than a few seconds. I have to move it back, and that just makes it really uncomfortable to switch the modes this way. Another small con is when you're in tactical mode, there is no 3 special modes. There's only strobe, no SOS, and beacon. And I don't like the way you have to cycle the special modes while in daily mode to reach beacon or SOS. I wish there was a way to put it in strobe, let your thumb go, and then be able to hold it back down to reach beacon and SOS. And the last con is just how much of a green tint this flashlight has on lower modes. Walking around out there in low, the beam was extremely green. And you can see a little bit of that green right through mid, but in high and turbo, the green is basically gone. So is the Pro worth an upgrade if you have the older version 2? And for a $10 difference, well, this was brand new at retail. So for $10 more for all these upgrades, yes, I would say this is definitely worth the upgrade. I mean, it's upgraded in almost every single way. Plus, in my opinion, it has the best beam profile of any LED everyday carry flashlight from Nitecore. Of course, that opinion is subjective, but I'm gonna stick by that opinion. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the MH12 Pro from Nitecore? If you wanna check this out for yourself, I will put links down below in my description box. But if you did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe and go!